Mute my phone. And we are live, folks. The red light is on, meaning we are live in the building in the building. We are live. Let's go.
I'm about
Hello, guys, and welcome to 10UT of Life. I'm your host, Veronica, back with you on this Tuesday night. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. I have my co-host back with us, Victor.
How y'all feeling?
You feel good.
I'm loaded up tonight, Veronica. I'm ready.
I only got water.
I got some Don Julio tonight. We gonna sip.
Wow. My daughter just brought a bottle in, so I can join you if I choose to.
Well, it's yours. I have some water right here.
I got water too tonight.
All right, so I have my girl Tori back with us tonight.
A.K.A. Leah.
Keep the Faith podcast
Thank you.
I want to say in the building, but we're not in the building, but we actually in whatever you call it.
The virtual building.
The virtual building, yes. And my brother Fatine, all the way from New York, WBLS radio station.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Yes.
How are my people feeling tonight?
Yeah, good. I'm good. How about you?
I feel good. I feel I took a
Rejuvenated.
nap, so I feel a little revived.
You ran out of here Thursday, so you should be really feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, All right,
matter of fact, lean back, smoke that cigarette, and tell.
We'll get into that a little later. Okay. What's going on, people out there? Cheryl, I see you, Voodoo Child. What's going on? Thank y'all guys so much for tuning in tonight. We have an email letter, yes, again, and this young lady wants to know what's up with you men. Okay, so let's get right into the email letter. Okay, she says, I'm a single female, age 40, just getting back out in the dating scene after an 8-year relationship. It's hard, and I want to know, what do men want? I know that I'm a great catch, but it seems like I always pick the wrong guys. What are men looking for from an independent woman who pretty much have everything she needs on her own? Only thing missing is someone who I can enjoy life with. I'm looking for someone who is ready to settle down and not about playing these street games. I feel that I'm too honest. At the start of my relationships. I tell too much, and men focus on those particular things, trying to fulfill them in the beginning, but then lose sight within a year or two. I need for the men to answer. What do they really want from strong-minded, independent females? Also, do you feel it's okay to approach a man first, or should I stay in the traditional zone and wait for them to approach me? Thanks, and I love the show. Okay, so I know you asked for the men advice, but I'm going to skip down to a little few of the things that you said, and I'll put my little 2 cents in, and then I'll turn it over to the men. Now, I don't see anything wrong with being honest, all right? Going back to what you said, I feel that I'm too honest at the start of my relationships. I tell too much, and men focus on these particular things, trying to fulfill them in the beginning, but then lose sight within a year or two. Okay, like I said, I don't feel anything wrong with being honest, because we do want men to be honest and upfront with us as well. So, however, we as women, and we talk about this a lot on the show, we do tend to tell all at the beginning. We tell what we've been through in our past relationships. We tell what we expect going into this new one, instead of letting men feel out and letting certain things fall into place, as I'm trying to say, as I'm stuttering. Meaning letting the men figure out things on their own. Like, I feel like how things start off at the beginning of a relationship should go through the entire relationship. Like, if you start out holding my hand, continue holding my hand. If you start out opening the car door for me, continue opening the car door for me. I shouldn't have to tell a man those things. If he has a desire to do those things, let it be his choice. Okay, I may say something, tease it a little bit or whatever, but anywho, let it be that man's choice. If I tell him those things at the beginning of a relationship, yes, he may grant those wishes or whatever for a month or two, and then eventually he may get away from it because that's not his thing. All right, so we need to let men. We don't need to, tell the men that, in my opinion. They'll do it on their own. As far as you say about approaching men, you said, also, do you feel it's okay to approach a man first, or should I stay in the traditional zone and wait for them to approach me? I feel in a lot of areas we need to get away from the traditional zone, as you call it. We need to get away of the way of doing things. I feel that it is okay to shoot your shot. We as women know how to come across as respectful and not in a desperate sense. We know if someone is interested or not. I feel a lot of women are scared of being let down when approaching a man. They don't want to hear, no, I'm not interested, or I got a man, or I got a woman. I got a man at home, or I got a woman at home. Just hearing those words and getting disappointed by that, I feel that a lot of women are scared to approach a guy. I say, if you want something, go for it. The guy could be just as nervous as you and don't want to approach you. So why not approach him? And he can only say, yay, no, y'all can kick it off, whatever. It's okay. Get out of your comfort zone and stop saying that things are in the traditional way. It's 2021. It's time to live life. If you want something, go after it. Victor?
I'm going to tell you this, Veronica. I'm going to take, me and you going to be opposite tonight. First of all, when it comes to a woman characterizing herself, or anybody characterizing themselves, they sound like they real conceited. How she gonna sit up in here and give characteristics about herself and nobody else is not even saying this is who she is? So right there, she already sound real conceited. But we can get to that later. My biggest issue is what she's talking about when she's talking about approaching men. We are hunters. We are naturally hunters. No longer do I ever want to be the hunted. I don't want nobody approaching me. If there are subtle ways that a woman can go about getting a man's attention and still let us feel like we are the hunter. But when you start reversing roles like that, then now you start making me think this is what you do. Or maybe you know something about me that I don't everybody to know, and maybe my business is out there. I tend to overthink some situations, but I just feel like when women step out of character and they start taking traits that's usually a male trait, then it tends to say that something may be wrong with them.
So you okay, going back to when you say she's coming over as conceited.
Yes. Well, she said that I'm a good woman and I deserve. Did she say I deserve a good man? Who said? How does she know that? She might not be a good person. Everybody thinks that they deserve somebody good, but she might not deserve a good man, because if she did, she'd have one. So, she's in her 40s and she's going to sit up in here and say what she deserves and what she should have. Then why don't you have that? Apparently, there's something wrong with her.
Well, she says, I know that I'm a great catch, but it seems like I always pick the wrong guys.
Sure, then you're not a great catch then.
That's not true, Victor.
Let me tell you this, Veronica. Somebody who's a great catch, they're going to get caught.
But okay, I like that. Yeah. But she did get caught. But it didn't last. It didn't work.
She just said that she was choosing the guys, but go ahead, Tori. I'm sorry.
No, I'm getting excited because I actually agree with you tonight. Oh my God.
No, she did get caught. She'd been in an 8-year relationship, so somebody caught her. She just didn't work out. That doesn't mean that she's not a good catch.
She says that she keeps choosing. Maybe she needs to be chosen. She needs to stop picking. Go ahead. Well, I'm sorry, Tori. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm loving this. I'm actually agreeing with you tonight. Keep going.
Go ahead, Tori.
I'm taking notes. Oh my God. That's why it was raining today, because I agree with Victor.
Right, because that's not supposed to happen. But
I actually agree with Victor. I'm old-fashioned, so I'm not going to approach a man for one. I'd rather for him to pursue me. And I believe in courting. I'm old-fashioned and I want to court. And the other, she was asking, because I was actually I was taking notes. So let me just think, this is what I think.
Yeah.
And with Victor and Fatine, give me some feedback, and the men that are watching, give me some feedback. I was taking some notes. I think that men like affirmation. And what men actually need are to you affirm them, because after you don't want to affirm affirmation is not to be confused with coddling or babying them. A real man doesn't need her to coddle them or baby them, but he does need to hear her speak blessings over his life. I believe in speaking it to the king and to the man. Also, with the affirmation, you want to speak. When you compliment him, you speak to his ego, but affirmation, you speak to his soul. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I think men like is to be respected. No man wants to be disrespected. I think men need to be understand, and they want to be heard, because a lot of times women put their perceptions on them and they don't hear the man out. They say what they want and they don't let the man speak. You don't let the man hear. You know what I'm saying? Men like to be heard as well. Also, not only do men pamper us, but we as women, now don't get it twisted. I'm not saying to pamper any man. I'm saying to pamper good men. Men need to be pampered as well. Like a lot of times women would like to be catered to, but we also got to cater to them as well. Because I remember I dated someone a while back, and I remember him telling me, he said, Tori, we already have to fight with the world. We don't want to come home and fight with you too. So not that we can provide man peace, but we have to provide an environment that's going to give him peace. Now, we can't be his peace, you know what I'm saying? Because that peace comes from within. But we have to provide an environment where it's going to be peaceful. You don't want chaos and a lot of confusion. And then also I feel like we have to give men space when necessary, because I'm guilty of this. Sometimes if I feel that something is wrong, I'll be like, what's wrong? And it's like sometimes they need to process things, and you have to give them their space to process things, and don't push them to make you tell them what's wrong, and they'll tell you when they're ready. So like I said, there's men on the panel. Tell me if you agree. That's just what I'm learning based on past relationships and observation, different things that I've learned over the past. So I know that once I do enter into another relationship, I think I will make better decisions, because I've been taking notes. Because sometimes you got to learn how to shut up, listen, observe, and take notes and learn from your past mistakes. And that's my 2 cents.
Tori, if I had a gold star, I'd give you 2 of them. You just dropped some tears to my eyes. I hope my fiance heard everything you just said. Preach.
Jesus. Hallelujah. Fatine.
Oh
Well,
my goodness.
first of all,
And my apologies.
I'm gonna separate what Tori, because Tori asked the question, and I'll deal with Tori question separate from that. Well, Tori, you asked the question, so before I go to the comment, you made some statements there, and I can agree with some of those statements there, and I think that that's a healthy way of having a conversation. But my approach is interesting, is a little different than all of y'all tonight. And this is the Tangy Tea. This is Veronica. She created this show, and we are her guests. But this letter was to us.
Yeah.
This letter was to us men. We don't need to hear from you women sometime to tell us what we want. I hate to say it like that. No disrespect to our sisters here, but at the end of the day, not to say that you may get it right, but this letter was to us. And even though Victor went one way, I'm going to possibly go another way. And I hear what Victor said. I'm not saying Victor's wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm not worried about a good catch. But I do understand that, this terminology of men like to be hunted. I mean, we're the hunters. Is something that it's about us. The masculine thing about us, the king of the jungle kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with a woman letting her interest be known, that there's some interest there. I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with there's some interest shown, because sometimes you're not even paying attention. Your mind not even may not even be focused at the end of the day. That's number one. Number two, she asked the question. What do we want? See, the issue is a lot of times women make the decision. This is what the man wants. This is what the man wants. This woman had at least enough respect to ask us, what do men want? Some men want to have their cake and eat it too. Some men want to be in a healthy relationship. It depends. It really depends on what the person wants. And by her asking that question, if a man is going to be sincere, then he has to ask that. We all are different. Victor, you see the difference between me and Victor. We disagree, we agree. Most of the time we come at the end of the show and wind up on the same page, but we're different. We are all different. And when you start putting us all in a bag, men want this, men want that, this, that, and the other, that's when you get it wrong. That's when you get it wrong. And that's why you don't have a lot of relationships out here working, because too many people are deciding what other people want and what other people need to do. There needs to be more communication between men and women, and find out what they want, what their likes, and try to understand one another a little bit better out here, instead of saying this is what they want and this is what I want to give. I do have to agree with Victor from the point of saying I am a good catch. A lot of people believe that they are a good catch. But you got to realize being a good catch and being compatible with someone is two different things. You got to realize a good catch. What do you mean? You have a good job, you have a college degree, you have a car, you have a house. Do you consider materialistic to be a good catch? Do you have a good personality? Do you bicker too much? As Tori just say, nag. So what Victor did say is right. What you may consider as a good catch, that you're a good catch, you may not be a good catch. So that's why communication and compatibility is very important in time. That's what I have to say.
So is it okay for us to speak now?
Right.
No.
Now I'm just saying that the bottom line is I at least take my hat off to the sister, because she wants to know about what we men want, because she wanted to know, because she's had some issues with some men. Yeah. And I thought that was appropriate. No take away from what you sisters thought, but she asked tonight, what do men want?
Yeah, and I did say my apologies, because I did meant for you to go before Tori. But because I'm the host, I just wanted to put my little 2 cents in.
I know y'all will take it personal. You shouldn't take it personal, but I'm just saying no disrespect.
No, I feel
but I just honestly told you how I felt. I just think that at times when you sisters go, y'all are right on point. But I think sometimes when the stage is set for us men, we don't need women always speaking up for us. We can speak for ourselves.
And you know what, Veronica?
Well,
What he's
okay.
saying is, I'm not saying. Let me just elaborate on what he's saying, or put my spin on what he's saying. You know, good independent women need to be independent women. Don't be independent women speaking for independent or dependent men. You be you. Let me be me. You know, Fatim said that he wants a woman to show interest. I don't like stuff like that. You know, if you have interest in me, then do your research on what I like, where I be, and you know, if it's meant to be, then you know, we'll cross paths. And the same thing's gonna go, you know, for you. If I like you, I'm going to do everything that I can to be in your space, for us to cross paths, to be on your mind at all times without trying to aggravate you. And that's how I got my fiance. You know, when we met, she couldn't stand me because we almost got into a fist fight at the jukebox.
I can believe that.
But by fate and by me being not really persistent, by me keep putting myself in places that I knew she was going to be at, to me to keep being persistent and showing her that the man you met the first time was not the man that I can be now, you know, she ain't had no choice. Once I threw that charm on there, I sprinkled that thing on in there. She ain't had no choice.
But going back to what you say about researching or you know,
Yeah.
how can I research if I don't approach you? I mean, I have to approach you first.
No, you don't.
In order, not me. Now, I hate to say it, but I'm the traditional way. Like, I don't want to have to step to a brother, and you know, I'm kind of old school way. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to approach a guy. But I'm just saying, like, some women, they want to get out there and approach a guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's 2021. Why do we have to, you know, live like what's been going on for years and years and years? Yes, like you, Victor, you don't like for someone to approach you, but there are women out there that don't mind approaching a man, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I can't do it.
I tell you that, Veronica. I mean, when I say approach, it's I shouldn't say an approach and the introduction is two different things. You can introduce yourself, but don't approach me. There's a big difference.
Okay.
So why don't you explain that difference? Because introduction means you could be at the bar and a young lady decides to send you a drink. That's an introduction. And approaching you is what?
Well, I only had that happen once, and that will forever be burnt in my mind, that when somebody sent me a drink for the first time in my life. When you introduce yourself, your introduction is, hello, my name is so-and-so, or whatever. That's the introduction. We just talking, speaking, or whatever. But approach is actually showing interest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you don't have to do it, but let me develop feelings before you approach. Don't just come out the blue and be like, yo, I've been seeing you. You know what I'm saying? You want to go out on a date. If a woman asked me on a date for the first date, I really wouldn't know how to take that, to be honest with you. Wow. I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, I don't know if that's the region, but up here in New York, this New York City where I'm at, it rolls, baby.
But it has
women,
to be.
It rolls. Women approach men, men approach women, and it rolls like that.
But the problem I think this woman have is the change of times, because I think I might have said it last show, the show before last. The man has been devalued. And I'll just say this, we have been devalued. There ain't a lot of good men, single, straight men out there. There ain't a lot of us out there. Well, I'm not single, but there ain't a lot of single, straight men out there. So I can understand why she was like, well, I want to do this and do that, and I'm 40 and my whatever, but it ain't a lot.
What do you mean what do you mean devalue? You making interesting points. I just want to go into it a little bit. What do you mean devalue?
Because women have, and I don't want to sound racist because I'm not, but let me just speak the facts. Black women have been toting the torch for for so long. And society has put the black male in jail. They have I ain't gonna say downgraded, but they have made us feel inferior. They've put us, locked us up, and we've kind of done it to ourselves. But black women have been on their own for so long that technically they almost don't need us. So, but when they do look for a man, it is hard for them to find a single black male that's on their same either intellectual level or same financial level or just want the same goals. And there ain't a lot of, if a woman's in her 30s, there's not a lot of single black males that either ain't out here whoring around, that ain't got a gang of damn kids, or who ain't got a bunch of felonies. There's not a lot of them.
Right.
And the ones that have all that, you think they gay as hell. So it's like, a woman who actually put her career first and put her love life second, she's actually cursed because the dating pool is this small. So either she's forced to be somebody's side chick or she's forced to put up with a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Let me just say this to Veronica and Tori tonight. This is interesting. And I asked Victor, he went somewhere I didn't know he was going to go, but I'm glad he went there because it's a conversation that we black men need to have with our black women. He did hit a point about devaluing. This society has devalued both of us, black men and women. Let's be real. But this society has now uplift our sisters more than us black men. Because I think there's a fear of that black man. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. There's a fear of a real black man, a strong black man. And what Victor said is it's just another obstacle that we black men have to deal with out here, along with the other obstacles, along with a relationship. And as you both say that you're old-fashioned and you look for certain things to be done, I understand that and I respect that. Because chivalry shouldn't be dead. A man should be a man and treat a woman the way a woman would like to be treated and should be treated. But with society beating us on our backs, and then when we have our women beating us on our backs, it seems like we are alone to the point that it's us against the world. And when we don't have that unity at home, it seems like at the end of the day, it's us. Like I just said, us against the world, and we put up that wall, and that's why sometimes we cannot even be our own self. And then what other stresses we get causes us to do things. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's not conscionable, but that's what us black men sometimes feel. And when we try to bring that and tell you that, sometimes, and Victor brought this up last week, sometimes we don't get that support from the listening and understanding.
Yeah. And I did have some stuff, because I kind of focused on this letter this time. Like it wasn't a rush thing when I got this email letter. So I kind of like wrote things down. And that's why I be getting tongue twisted, because I be trying to look at my notes and talk to you all at the same time. But I did write down some stuff as far as to you men. Like I think a lot of times we don't give your men the same respect as we don't respect you all feelings. We as women have to understand that you all have bad days just as well as we have bad days. Some days you guys don't feel good, you don't feel like talking, and you may not tell us, and we just assume, oh, he's in one of his moods, but we have to understand that you guys go through things as well. You don't talk about things like if we have a bad day, we're going to be like, hey, guess what? This happened to me. I'm so frustrated. I'm so this, I'm so that. But you guys, you pretty much will hold it in, and just let it simmer on its own without opening up to us.
But,
so, we looking at it as you are having you're in a bad mood, but you could be having something like a simple headache and we don't know. But, we get so caught up in thinking men are supposed to be rock solid and not weak. But we have to understand that you guys have, feelings and emotions and all of that as well. So.
But when you do stuff like that, you creating a monster, because to be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it 100. Black men don't know how to treat black women. We don't. Let me back up. I didn't.
And
I
see,
really
Who is that?
see, that's why I didn't really agree with all that Tori was saying. I mean, that's all gravy and all good what she was saying. Like in a perfect world, you would
Perfect world.
want to treat your king that way.
Right.
But a lot of things that Tori said,
But understand, a king, when you start talking about king of the castle, that title is not given. That shit is earned, man.
yes,
Correct.
So
yes,
you know,
yes,
but
yes.
but this is the thing, you know, no matter how much money I make, no matter what I have, what's in my bank account or what's in my driveway, if I don't know how, I still need my woman next to me. Yeah, I can have a girl, but we talking about a woman, and ain't no woman gonna put up with no man mistreating her.
Right.
So, you know, for you to sit here and say, well, you had a bad day, it just seems like we don't cater to each other. But yes, women are more nurturing than men. But to me, it seems like that y'all do, and I ain't gonna lie to you, my old lady do it. She caters to me way more than I cater to her. And I know that's a problem that I have and I need to work on.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is something that needs to be addressed. You know, there's a lot of us black men out here that want a good woman, but when we get one, we don't want to seem like no lame or no square
Yeah.
to our friends. So we like, oh man, I'm just hang out with y'all this weekend. but it's the truth. But the whole time we thinking, like when we all hung out a couple weekends ago, I'm texting my old lady the whole time because I'm just like, yeah, you know, I'm having a good time, you know, da 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 da. Yeah, and I was, but still, I got to make sure the home team's straight.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Right.
But see, a lot of men don't think that way. When they're out. Like, forget back home.
A lot
You know
of
what I'm saying? And that's not how it should be. Like, if you going out and you have someone, your loved one back home, you still got to show her respect. You know what I'm saying? Just because you out, like you've been doing throughout the night, sending text messages, do that. Just because you're that doesn't mean that you're not down or whatever you call it, just because, you know, you out with the boys or, you know, you hanging out with us and, you know, you feel like, oh, if I text my old
But
lady,
I would never tell y'all that though.
you told us tonight though.
Well, I mean, that's 2 weeks ago, so I can sit here and say that today. I mean, but it's a front, Veronica. It's a whole facade. You know, I'll tell you this, you know, I got a friend of mine who wants to, he's getting married and all this other stuff, and they want to go on his bachelor's party. And to be honest with you, I really don't want to go because I don't see where me and a whole bunch of dudes can have a real good time on a weekend. I'm just not into shit like that. But I'm gonna go, you know, because I guess that's just the thing to do. But I don't see where a whole bunch of men can have a good time for more than 2 or 3 hours, and I'm ready to go home. So that's just me. But it is.
Well, you must ain't been to bachelor parties.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Can we have this Victor all the time?
No, we don't.
I love it.
We don't want this Victor all the time.
But see,
I do.
but see, because tonight. And
I've been drinking too, so
yeah. But the real and the bottom line is the approach is different. And see, one thing is about us men talking and telling the truth. You don't put us on the edge. This conversation was a little different tonight. And when we have to look in the mirror and we look in the mirror, we can be honest. But when we have to look in that mirror, but we are with that facade is put up, then at the end of the day, then we're coming back. But tonight we're not being attacked per se. So we just speaking the truth. And Victor's right. He is right. And I have to agree with him on that perspective. I disagree with you and say men can't get together and have fun. I mean, I went to a bachelor party and I knew it was starting to get out of hand, and I left. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit somewhere and be a prude you know, if I'm not going to partake in what they're going to do
Right.
at the end of the day. You know, I'm not going to sit up here just like the bachelorette party. Some go across the line, just like bachelor parties go across the line. But people find out have ways of fun. But when we having these conversations, Victor is right. We as Black men have not taken care of our Black women on the whole. We haven't. We haven't done that. We just haven't. And we have to get better at that. But Black women have to also get better at communication, and they have to get better at some of their ways that they have that are not good.
Communication. Wait a minute. Let's back up, because I'm speaking for myself. Like, I'm a great communicator. Like, I want someone that's going to communicate with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want a best friend. I want someone that's going to be able to talk to me about anything. You know, I know some, you know, men have personal things going on that they don't want to talk to their woman about. I get that. But I want it to be where we're able to talk about any and everything. Now, when it comes to communication, you guys can admit that men have a bigger issue with communicating than women. Come on now. Y'all have a bigger issue with that.
I won't disagree with you.
Thank you. Because I feel like most women, now I can say that we, like Tori said at the beginning, we do need to learn how to shut up and listen to our men at times.
But wait,
at times, I'm not going to say all the time. Definitely not.
I'll tell you this, and I try to look at my dynamic, my family dynamic. Women back in the day didn't settle. Women in 2021, they settle.
Whoa,
and that's the problem. They settle because
I thought women had settled in the past. Didn't you say women settled because of their circumstance?
No, I said that they stayed because of their circumstance. But
well, they're settling.
When they was choosing a husband back in the day, their initial choice of their husband probably was one of they had these guys back in the day. I mean, I ain't gonna say being promiscuous was a big thing. I don't know, because I wasn't back then. But you know, if you listen to your grandparents talk about, well, why did you choose my granddad? Oh, he was strong and he would run fast and he could do this and he could do that. But now when you listen, well, why you chose this? Oh, well, you know, well, him and his homeboys was out and he was the best looking one in the crew. So, you know, and I only drank here. So, you know, he was the best looking one that here. It's like y'all settle now. It's like, you know, we don't approach y'all no more because we already know that after a certain age, y'all gonna come looking for us. And it's the truth. It's the truth, right now. If you look at the ratio of women to men, y'all outnumber us.
Yeah.
And then you have to break it down even further. The men that actually want to date Black women is another thing, or the men that actually can qualify to actually date women. When I say by qualify, that he has a job, he has a car, he has a home. There are, and Veronica, that was our first conversation we ever had, the qualifications of dating. Some dudes shouldn't even be out here trying to date a woman because they need to get their stuff together first.
But what happens is we deal with it from a perspective of needs. See, that's the problem. We deal with the opposite sex, both men and women. We deal with each other because of needs, and at times we get together because of needs, and then we get together for whatever the reason are, and then we get together. But as time go on, you can see that you may not be compatible, but you know what? There's 2 or 3 children there now. And Victor, I'm like, as Veronica and Tori said, they're from the old school. Victor, you and I was brought up from the old school, from that perspective, and respect that. And I don't have a problem dealing with that, but you try to deal with your responsibility. And you don't want to just get up and walk away, even though you can. Like you said, Victor, if you're not happy, you can. But a lot of people tend to try to stay and try to do it for the children or whatever. But sometimes you realize you're not compatible. So at the end of the day, we have to do a better way of not only communication, as you mentioned, Veronica, but we also have to, in a sense of, do better in the choices that we make. That's what we have to also do better.
But how do you choose how do you go about the
You date. That's what I told y'all before. You don't just jump into things. You date. You don't just get into any committed relationship. You just date people and find and feel you because you meet someone. That means and there's interest there. That means that's the person for you. I don't believe in that. It may be the person for you, but this is a big world here, man. And I just think that you need to know what you want and where you at in life. You just said about qualifying about dating. Some people are not even qualified or ready to date because they don't even have themselves together. But at the end of the day, because of needs, we get together with people, we show interest, and then it takes off from there.
Well, I mean, a lot of people ain't qualified to marry either, but they get married.
That is correct. That's the same thing. Same thing.
Uh-oh.
Same thing. I mean, I think we got. I see the I ain't reading none of one comment, but
Well, I'm getting ready to get to that. Let's see what some comments are saying. Fred earlier said, "No, y'all don't stop telling that honesty is not suited for females, especially if your feelings get hurt or
That's
offended."
true.
But I can say certain things. I prefer you to be honest with me. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm to the point in life where I want you to be honest. I don't care if it hurt my feelings. I may not talk to you for about 3 or 4 hours, but be honest with me. Let's just be honest. That is what relationships need to be about these days. Just being
Lie to
honest.
me. You're gonna have to lie to me.
Jessica says it's perfectly fine to approach a man. Sometimes they don't think we're interested if we don't approach them. And that is true because, yes, like going back to men have feelings as well. How about if this man is afraid that this woman just look like she's uppity or, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, oh, she might not be on my level, so I'm not going to approach her. So what's wrong with this lady getting up from the table or booth or whatever and going over there and approaching this man? I don't see anything wrong with it. I personally can't do it, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. Just like
there's a bunch of things. I'm not saying what's wrong with it, but there's a bunch of things. You come off as too forward. The only women that I know that approach men are prostitutes. That's it.
Now, Victor, I mean, like you said, there's a difference between approaching and what do you say?
Introduction.
When I'm saying the introduction is different than the approach. There's a big difference. If you approach me, that means like you made the first move. Like I say, lie to me. Let me think that I made the first move. Let me still feel like the man in the relationship. Let me still feel like that I am the king of this castle, even though you run the whole thing. See, I tell you right now, my kids have asked me this, that, and the other. And I tell you, I don't make no decisions here. Tracy make all the decisions here, but she still let me feel like I'm the man of the house.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, just let me feel like I'm still the man of this, even though we ain't running nothing.
I mean, yeah, and I would want my man to feel like he is the man in the house, but I'm making pretty much all the decisions, but I still want him to feel like he is the one.
And that's what I'm saying. This, like I said, lie to me. Tori?
I'm just doing this Victor, so I'm just sitting back.
Well, I'm pretty sure I disappoint you by the end of the night.
Probably.
And that's just like Cheryl said, dudes are approaching her, but she's just picking the wrong ones. And that's what she's saying that guys, she's just picking the wrong guy.
But why is she picking the wrong ones, Veronica? I mean, when it comes down to picking
that's a good
men,
point. Good point.
And when it comes down to picking men, if you keep picking the wrong one, then there's something about your choice selection that's just messed up.
Well, right. And another thing where you're choosing the wrong person in your life is because you're taking baggage from your previous relationships into that. Into finding, instead of taking time and realizing your faults and all the things that you've done wrong in your previous relationships, not so much of what that man done wrong to you. But when you realize what you have done wrong in previous relationships, you have a fresh start in going into this new relationship and figuring out what you want from this new person that's coming into your life.
So let me ask you this. This is something, speaking with a woman, somebody I know, and she's in the hip hop world. She's a female in the hip hop world, but she was married. She's married, and attractive young lady, and she went big. And at the end of the day, a lot of men have approached her, but she put them in their place. The point I'm trying to get to is she said that when she ran into Tupac, she said that Tupac, when she came in his presence, something went through her that she's never felt when another man approached her. The point I'm trying to get to is, as you just mentioned, Veronica, about choices, and Victor, about these choices. What happens when a woman, and again, I agree with the bad choices, but what happens if a woman is turned on by that quote unquote, and you hear this before, I like that thug so-and-so. The younger folks, they use the N-word. I like that thug nigga. I love that thug. That turns me on. It's something about them. And when you attracted to that and you go against that, or you continue to pick that, and those choices, what comes with that lifestyle may not be your lifestyle. But if you're attracted to that, then something has to give. If you're attracted to that, then you're going to have to pick somebody that might have that swag, but don't live that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go out of your comfort zone, as I call it. Sometimes you have to, if you're continuing choosing the wrong guy in your life and you like that thug type guy, then you need to back away from that type of guy. If you keep getting hurt from that particular type, then you need to go another route. It's okay to go out of your, say if you used to big man and a slim guy approach you, it's okay. This guy may have a heart of gold. You have to give people a chance. You have to get from out of that comfort zone. And okay, so Victor, you shaking your head. So in that case, then she's going to continue picking the wrong guys if she continue to, keep thinking this is the type of dude that I want.
But you condoning her to settle. And I'm telling her that she shouldn't settle. If that's not what you want, then you keep it moving. Just don't pick the guy. Just keep sifting through these guys. Now, see, my thing is
that's what I say. He had that swag. That's why I said get that guy with that swag, but not that lifestyle.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You're saying, well, if she wants a skinny guy, then ma'am, keep going until you find that skinny guy. You know what I'm saying? Just don't settle because a big guy's got the same swag, and you're not really happy.
I don't think that's settling. Is changing your mindset in what you want. That's not selling though. Selling is going for what you're used to, and that is who I want, and that is what I'm going to go with, even though I know this dude is not right for me, but this is what I'm used to, so I'm going to settle. That's not selling if you're trying to go a different route to see what else is out there than from what I've been choosing in life. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to try a whole new approach. Maybe I like these guys that stay in the mirror more than I do. But now I got to realize they stay in the mirror more than I do. And plus, they have all these women flocking around them and they don't know how to say no and blah, 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 blah. And so, maybe I'll go to this dude that don't stay in the mirror as much. He look 80% decent, Let me see what
that's
he's about.
Settling. But
that's not settling. Settling is staying on the same track that you're on.
I ain't gonna argue with you, Veronica.
I'm just saying. Go ahead, Victor.
I'm gonna say this. Women I've met back in long time ago. I met women who wanted a hardworking. They say, "Oh, I want me a hardworking man. I want this and I want that." And and then when they realize what it takes to be with a man, a hardworking man, you understand that 2-3 o'clock in the morning, my phone gonna ring. I got to go to work, or those 16-hour days come in. I can't tell you how beautiful you look because I don't really feel like looking at you because I got to go straight to bed. And then whereas if this hardworking man that's this hardworking man that's setting the foundation for this relationship as well as y'all lives is not showing you the attention that he normally shows you, then you take that as, oh, well, he don't care about me. And that's not all women. I'm just painting the picture. So what he does is he's still going to work. He's still doing this. He's catching overtime. So what y'all do with y'all free time? Y'all go out there and you have a drink with your friends, and then Mr. Thug come over with all his time because he ain't got no job and he ain't got nothing going on, and y'all let him in y'all space when the whole time, you know, Mr. Dirty Fingernails over here is at work trying to make a better life for you, but you're not willing just to put your needs and wants to the side.
That's what I was saying. You got to come out of your comfort zone sometimes. That's what I was trying to say.
But if you were trying to say that, I apologize for not getting it. But what I thought you were saying was, if you like this type of guy, maybe you need to look for this type of guy. I think that's what I'm and
yeah, but isn't that what you kind of like visualize?
No, what I was saying was basically, if you're with this guy, stay with this guy. If this is what you want, don't settle for the guy that's going to show you all this attention, because this guy that you choose to be with is not.
But see, that's logical, but it's just at times, again, we are emotional creatures. So because we are emotional creatures, we sometimes let our emotions dictate our mind in making that best decision. So I understand what Victor's saying. I understand what Veronica's saying. But let's bring this together. You know, to those Trekkies out there, you got Dr. Spock and you got Captain Kirk. Dr. Spock, no emotions. He's not controlled by no emotions. And Captain Kirk is with emotions. And when you bring that together, this is the real world. And in a real world, we just don't operate like that. I hear what you're saying, but it just doesn't work like that. And that's why if you don't know what you want or how you want to go about it, that don't mean when you make decisions or you get together, you don't make mistakes. That's not what I'm saying, because when we get together, sometimes we make mistakes. Like tonight, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking back what worked. You know, for those that know and don't know, I'm being a little transparent tonight. You know that I've been going through some challenges in my relationship now. But one thing I can never say is that my missus is a bad person. Never can say that. Never will say that. I said that to her the other night. Is that I will never say that. And what worked for us was communication. What happened? And I say this to everybody. Communication is so important. And at times you get into a comfort zone, especially when you together for a while. And when you get into that comfort zone, sometimes you slip, sometimes you make bad decisions, sometimes you make bad choices. And we're human, and we have to be able to talk about it and try to work through those things the best way we can. Sometimes you grow apart, sometimes you do, sometimes you can talk about it and make it and patch it up and continue moving forward. But that's the real world.
And that's where a lot of relationships go wrong. When you get into that comfort zone, it's not good. Like, you need to be still dating one another. You need to still be communicating. I don't care how long you've been together. You still need to make time. You still need date night. You still need the hugs and the kisses and the walks in the park. Like, you need all of that to keep things fresh and keep things going. Don't just get in that comfort zone and shut down. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, how you start a relationship, you need to carry that on. You walking with me, holding my hand. Let's do this all the time, not just the first 2 years when we get together. Make this a priority. Like, when we go out, we're holding hands.
But what Victor is saying, and Victor said it very well, and this is where I have to say, and the only reason why I say it, because he said it already, is that as time goes on, circumstance may change. And like he said, you know, when I did have this time, my job was doing this, but now I got that promotion, and now that promotion causes me to be away from home more. I'm still the same dedicated person, but I can't put in the same amount of the affection and the time right now because I don't have the time. And
First of all,
you know,
you're not working 7 days a week, 24 hours.
That's a lie.
You work 7 days a week? So you mean
Yes, Barack,
yeah.
I'm on 21 straight right now, but go ahead.
But you still gonna make time for date night.
No, I'm
Right.
not. No, I'm not. No, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, Veronica. I swear to God, I'm not trying to make you look any sort of way. But my fiance, when we first got together, I told her, I said, when we at the paper mill, my schedule changes by the minute. You know what I'm saying? But I get what you're saying. Yes. You do. People do make time for date night, but I'm just not one of them.
Yeah,
But
I don't
what-
care if it's
but
date
do
night.
you make time
I don't
for?
care if it's date night inside the house. Light a little candle on the table and just eat and
But
Yeah.
like having that romantic time. I'm not, when I say date night, I'm not actually talking about going out on the town every single time.
I was about to say that.
You know what I'm
But-
saying?
Oh,
Date
okay,
night, you can
okay.
make
but
date night at home.
I don't want to
Okay,
blow
I'm
big.
with you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
with you.
and
Yeah.
because I don't want to beat Victor up on this, but the same way you get chance to hang out with the friends is to say, okay, if I did this, the next time I'm gonna do this with
Now, whose
my
side are you
missus.
on? Now, I just said something about, and then you went like, whose side are you on, Fatine? Because I'm confused right now.
No,
Like,
I'm saying that Victor made a point about date night, right?
Yeah.
And he's made a point about date night. And I said, I don't want to blow up his spot, but I'm saying the same way that you can get together with your friends, you can also get together with your missus. That's all I'm saying. You can't come in and say, I don't have time for date night, but you get a chance to hang out with your friends.
But then in the same breath, you said that circumstances come up and
Right. What I'm saying, if circumstance, they're two different things. I'm saying if circumstances come up that don't allow you to do date night or hang out with your friends, that's what I'm saying. That then you don't have the time. But don't say you don't have time for date night, but then you still wind up having time for your friends. Don't say you don't have time for date night. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we make time for what we want to make time for. Understand that if you make time for your friends, you know, maybe she had to work that next day. So if I'm off, should I have to sit home because you had to work? Nah. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to enjoy the little bit of free time that I have. Now, I will say this, and I'm a big person, I ain't gonna say advocate. I get caught up in this. Sometimes we want to choose how our mates spend their free time. And that is wrong. And I like, well, if my fiance is off and I'm off, she'll tell you right now, Vic, I want to lay in the bed. I'm like, oh man, we can do this, we can go this, we can do this, we go this. She's like, why can't we just lay in the bed? And I'm like, I don't want to lay in the bed. She's not wrong. I'm not wrong. She's not right. I'm not right. But we need to come up with a common ground. So we end up doing whatever the hell she want to do. But you know,
it always works.
but that's the thing though. You know, how we choose our free time should never be dependent on what the other person think we should be doing. And that's where a lot of people come. Well, I should say women. That's where a lot of women get mad with us about something stupid, because if we're off, you'll be like, well, I ain't seen you in 7 days. I mean, you could have came up to my job and we could have had lunch. I'm like, well, why didn't you just say you want to have lunch? Why didn't you just make this schedule? The communication needs to be open.
Well, you know what? A lot of times we as women are overthinkers. Like, oh, I'm not calling him first. I'm not texting him first. I'm going to wait and let him text me. I'm going to wait and let him call me. You know,
That's why you don't get into this. That's why you don't get into the circumstance or the situation where the man is always doing the approaching. That sets a pattern. That's why I was against that from the beginning of this show, where a woman can approach a man, because you start to set boundaries. And I don't believe in those boundaries, in the sense of the woman may be creative and say, you know what, I want to do this. Hey, let me run this by you, because you didn't think of it, but you may think that's a good idea. But if it's always on the man to do it, if that's the kind of man that the person is, then at the end of the day, then you can miss out on a good time.
Yeah, I do feel like we miss out on a lot of opportunities because we are overthinkers. I know that I am an overthinker, and I am a spoiled brat, and like I overthink. Did I get the bell for that? Excuse me.
You're just being honest. That's the honest bell.
I mean, yeah, I just feel like I am an overthinker. But go ahead, Victor. Why was you shaking your head? Because I want to get into Deanna's comment too.
The whole thing about the approach, even though the man can approach, see, the problem that I have is that lead term. I don't like that term, a man should lead, because no one wants to be led by a damn fool. So when it comes down to being led, understand that everybody doesn't have the qualifications to, every man doesn't have the qualifications to lead. So I think a lot of male chauvinists take that term as lead as that the woman's going to be 100% submissive. And that's not true. No. Lead just meaning, and every decision shouldn't be made by just the man.
Exactly.
But lead means, you know, as a unit, I'm at the head of the table. I'm this, I'm that. Whatever decision that me and my wife come up with, I might be the one to communicate the decision. You know what I'm saying? That's leading. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Victor White. That's leading. But some of these guys take it as leading is having a slave. And that's not what leading means.
Yeah.
So when I talk about the approach thing, just because I want to approach you don't necessarily mean that I'm going to always be continuously doing all the approaching. Just the initial approach. Once I make that initial approach to you, the approach, then from then on, it's fair game for anybody to do whatever it is they want to do inside that relationship.
Yeah, I can get down with that. Yeah,
I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate that explanation right there.
Yeah. It's just that sometimes I just want the man to just, I don't know.
Good Lord, Veronica, you all right?
Yeah, let me get off there. All right, let's go to Deanna.
she about to lead into something.
Deanna says that's why people should take time to heal after breakups, so they won't take that baggage into another relationship. No one should have to pay the price for another person's mistake, and that's exactly what I was saying. We have to take time to heal. Now, I can say this: if you was in a long time relationship, and say that you knew it been over, say like over a year, you knew it was over, but you was just there, just, you know, hanging out, whatever, thinking things going to turn around, whatever. I think your healing process has already started. So if your healing process has already started, going into another relationship, I don't see anything wrong with it. As long as you know that you're healed from that previous relationship, then I don't see anything wrong with, because you know a lot of people be like, well, why are you moving so fast? Well, why are you doing this? And why stop? This is my life. Okay, this is my life. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be happy. You know, I've been miserable for so long. Stop asking me, why am I doing this? Okay, like I said, some people heal way before they leave from out of that relationship that they're in, and they know exactly what they want going into that next relationship. So I just need for everybody to stop judging people when it comes to relationships and who they're with, who they're talking to, who they're spending time with. Like, stop, because you all don't know what this person has been through, going through, getting ready to go through. Like, let people live their life. And here's
one thing about. Go ahead,
I was going to say one thing about women: before we are physically leave, we already left emotionally.
Exactly, gone.
So, and the other thing that I want to say, because I was just listening, I didn't want to interrupt, but I can't remember who it was, but she made a comment that she attract the wrong people. Sometimes we attract the wrong people because there's certain parts of us that needs healing, and when that part of us heals, then we'll stop attracting the wrong person. So a lot of times you're connected or attracted to someone because there's certain parts of you that needs that healing. So you have to truly be healed before you're able to get what your your true partner that's specifically designed for you. That's
Well, how do you know oh no, I don't want to say how do you know. I'm gonna change that, Tori. So what about the person that feels they don't need healing because, for instance, I brought up the whole thing about being attracted to that thug person, and that when you make that choice, again, everyone that, I hate to use that term, but it's a real term, and how people say, hey, I'm attracted to this thug kind of person. What happens when that's something that you are attracted, you feel it in your bones, the swag, the way they walk, the way they do things. Do you think you need healing from that, or how does a person know they need healing from that?
A person have to know what they need from within. You can't expect for another person to give you what you need. You have to give yourself what you need. That's the inside job. So you can't expect for somebody to give you something that you need. You got to be healed. You got to give yourself what you need before you get to, because like there's certain, because I will admit, for me personally, I used to want that thug or whatever, but the way the space I'm in now, I don't.
That thug love.
I'm in a different space.
Yeah,
I'm just in a different space now.
And
then let me say this too. Now there are some people that they may have the tattoos, they may have the jeans and sweatshirt, whatever. But some of them people that you may judge based on their tattoos and their clothes, them be some of the sweetest people.
Excellent.
Right. They have some of those people have more church in them than the church folks.
Thank you, Tori.
But if you don't approach him because you're old fashioned, you will never know that.
Listen,
yourself.
Listen, you can have a conversation with someone and you can kind of tell what their thought process, their perspectives and things by having a conversation.
Yeah, and some people can lie with that conversation too. Some people can fake the funk real good. That's what I was gonna say too. That's what I was gonna say too. You got to be careful too, because people can pretend well as well. That's why we as women, just as people in general, don't always put out there, well, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that. Because if you put it out there, they gonna dress it up like they're exactly what you're looking for. That's what I said.
Dress it up.
We have to be careful because they'll be that person for a few months or a year or two. After that, it's gone.
I was gonna say that, Veronica.
Hold up, before you go to your comment, let me say this. You said don't bring baggage to another relationship, but I'm gonna bring a couple of garments, because the reason why I got out of this relationship, I'm gonna need to look for the signs to make sure you're not the same person I was with before. So I might not bring the baggage, but I'm gonna bring a shirt, some pants, and some shoes into the relationship.
We definitely gonna have our guard up. I mean, that's common sense to have your guard up. If you're coming out of a relationship and you know that relationship was like crazy,
toxic,
but you don't want to go in thinking that that next person is going to do that exact same thing to you that person that you just left going to do, because that right there is bringing non-trust to the relationship at the beginning, because you already thinking that this person is going to treat you the same way as the relationship when you're healed. You're not going to go into a relationship thinking like that.
But also understand that everybody who's listening to this show that's sitting here saying taking baggage from another relationship, you may have been the reason why y'all even broke up to start with. So, not everybody is the victim in a relationship.
And that's the thing. That's why I say you have to find out what you done, not necessarily what that person done.
Not something a man done. Most of the time, it's
what? What you say, Victor?
Most of the time, it's not something a man done.
Yeah, right. But
and here again, Lord have mercy. That's why I was raining so hard. I'm agreeing with Victor again, because a lot of times we as women, because I know me personally, sometimes we have to look at ourselves.
That's what I said.
Because I'm saying, like, in a past relationship, somebody said, well, you did this, you did it. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But when I look back, I did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I said it's not necessarily what the person did to you. You have to focus on what you did into what you did in that
Right.
relationship.
That's
But what
right.
Victor was saying though, what I was agreeing to, it's not always the man's fault.
That's what
That's
I'm
what I
saying.
was
We
agreeing.
as
Yeah.
women, we have to
Yeah.
figure out what we've done in the
Yeah.
relationship to make that relationship go sour as well. No, it's not always the man.
Well, let me. I
Yeah.
just got
It's
some
our
Victor. I just got some Victor juice, so I'm gonna be.
Our attitudes, we don't listen half the time. You know, we have mood swings, like all of that. Like we have to take all of that into consideration and think like, okay, you think about what you did in that past relationship that drove this man crazy, and you guys been arguing about this and arguing about that. I have to realize, okay, well, I can't take that attitude into this new relationship.
Right.
I can't take this mouth into this new relationship. You know what I'm
But when
saying?
do you forget? When do you forget all that? By day what? 6?
Day 35.
It took me 3.5 years. 3.5 years from that first marriage, and just dating people and just having a good time and respecting folks and concentrating on the things that for instance, trust was an issue. Trust because of lying in that relationship.
Yeah.
So I knew that my trust was damaged. So I had to rebuild that trust, and it would take time for that. I'm just giving you one example. But by dating people, dating different young ladies, and being able to be transparent on my end, and them being transparent, it just wind up building that. I was able to get over some of those issues.
And see, that's just like Voodoo said, bad relationships prepare you for great relationships.
That's
And
right.
that's a true statement.
That's right.
You coming from out of a bad relationship, now you're going to know how to go into this new relationship and make that relationship great.
Correct.
I want to go back to something Deanna said. It's not always settling. It's not always settling. It can be leveling up, getting with someone who is different but more compatible. And that's what I was trying to say. You know, you're used to that thug, but how about go over here and see what this young man with this suit and tie on is about? You know what I'm saying? If the thugs ain't working for you, level up.
But she might not deserve the suit and tie, man.
Well, give it a try.
But the thing, and that's the thing, you know, everybody thinks that they deserve somebody this, but if you're not the person within yourself that's just, let me back up. Everybody deserves somebody good, but it's how they carry themselves. No corporate man, no company businessman is gonna be with nobody with no green and blue damn hair. I can't take you to my company function if you're sitting around here with your hair different kind of ways. Now, my cousin is a prosecutor in New Jersey, and they used to get
prostitute. Go ahead.
Prosecutor in New Jersey, and they used to get on her about her wearing her natural hair, and she fought or whatever it is, but her name is Tracy too. But my cousin Tracy, because she was a professional, didn't go with all the different wild hairstyles. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but it's what's appropriate. I'm not telling you not to be yourself, but if you're going to portray yourself a certain type of way, understand that when you on my arm, you also are an extension of me.
That's correct. Excellent.
So if I'm at my company function, I might have met you in the club with green hair, and that's great. But I might tell you, babe, tonight I'm gonna need for you to color that thing black, kind of tone it down, and I'm gonna need for you to be a little understanding that, all this wild stuff that we do outside of work, that's not who I am here. So,
but that's how you met me, though.
You're right, but that's not who I am with you. Understand how I met you in our home life. What we do at home is not necessarily how we are in the streets. Now, see, that's one thing why I have a problem with a lot of you women. We can sit here and argue in the car, and then we can go in this public place, and the shit's still all on your face. I'm gonna need for you to fix that, or we go into the crib.
But you can take the woman, if you, since you're talking about, you could take the woman out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the woman.
That's true.
So you understand? So it ain't no use to trying to put on a facade for this company function if this ain't who she is.
But she
You
can, but
understand what
like
I'm saying?
you said, you can pretend. You can if you
pretend,
love
but
me, pretend for 2 hours.
is
That's
that
all I
what you
need you to
want?
do.
But is that what you want?
Yes, because
Okay.
but
No,
this is
what
my
I'm
thing.
saying is that the kind of woman you want.
I want that type of woman that when I need for you to be Miss Betty Boobop, then that's who I want. But if I need for you to be Cheryl from the hood, then I need for you to be Cheryl from the hood. But understand that there's different. You can't be the same person all the time. You can't act the same way all the time because when I'm around my kids, I'm one way. When I'm around my old lady, I'm one way. When I'm
Yeah.
at work, I'm completely different. I can't
True.
be the same person all the time because if that was the case, then I don't know who I'd be.
Right. I feel you on that. You have to let your guard down. You're right. We all are different people at different times.
You
Right.
have
But
to
I
be.
look at Tori and Veronica right now, and I would say we all have ways, but one thing I can say, these women are not ghetto women, meaning that they're not going to bring that ghetto nonsense to
Who?
whatever. Veronica and Tori.
She.
I said ghetto. I didn't say they didn't have ways. I said ghetto. And I'm talking about
Back off, Victor.
they know how to speak, they know how to talk. You understand what I'm saying? They know how to dress. I did see that yellow outfit you had on, Tori. Yeah.
I want to go to Noah's comment right quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments out here. Yep.
Noah says a lot of women make the mistake of trying to also be the man in the relationship. One of the most important things to a man, whether he will admit it or not, is his manhood. Once a woman tries to make him feel less than a man, he will never look at her the same. He will forgive her, but he will never forget.
That's a fact.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Some women will try to do their best to emasculate a man, and that's not a good thing. That is so unattractive.
But I mean, sometimes it's not meant to go that way. Like sometimes we don't realize that we're doing that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not meant to make you feel less than a man. It's just sometimes our mouth can keep going and we don't know how to stop it.
That's why when we say that and tell you that and it continues, then the problem is not us. Then that problem is something that you have to fix.
Yeah,
and if you can't fix it,
that I definitely can't admit to, and that's something that I'm proud to say. Excuse me, that's something that I learned from my previous relationship is that it can't be always about Veronica. That's something that I've learned. I've always been spoiled. I've been spoiled by my parents. I've been spoiled by my siblings. I've been spoiled, at work, like previous relationships. Like I've always been that spoiled person, but now I've come to realize that it's not about Veronica. Like I have to fall back and let someone else be, first, or, I can't just think about myself. So that was a big issue in my previous marriage. Always wanted it to be me. I can admit that. That's something that I'm not taking into a new relationship with you.
That's right. So attractive. I mean, I understand. You want a beautiful woman. You want a woman this and that, but it also comes down to personality, humility. These are traits. And we talk about the Lord and we talk about the devil. You got to look at the traits that you bring and the traits that you want from your other better half.
Veronica Duchess, the next to the last comment she made, that kind of takes me somewhere. I was dating yeah, that one right there. That kind of took me somewhere. I remember I was dating a long, like, many moons ago. I was dating somebody and we were in a good space at the moment. And I met one of my coworkers come by and we were talking and, I was standing there and my coworker brought up something that I told her I was one place, but I was somewhere else. Now I wasn't cheating at the time, but I might have been, I don't know, but at that moment it was something else. But when she realized there was the discrepancy in what I told her previously, she didn't wait for this guy to walk off and approach me about it. She wanted to handle it right then and there. So it was like, I got to leave you now. Because now I got this. If you take it here in front of my coworker, I got to take it here. And I think that's where, as people, we need to realize, because, they always the saying, will you show out, I'm a wear you out, or whatever it is. But we got to stop doing that. When you find a discrepancy in your spouse's or your lover or whoever you with story, learn to hold that in until it's the right place and the right time.
Right time, yeah.
But y'all women don't do that.
Oh, I do that. Like me, I don't want to be made. I don't want to be embarrassed, shamed, whatever you want to call it in public. Let's wait until we get in the car. If you have something to say to me.
So then you're going to start hitting us in the car?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna Victor made that point. I not that he don't take this serious. I take this serious, but sometimes the situation causes you to go there. Sometimes you can't hold it in. This is a past relationship, and I'm just being transparent. I take my ex lady to a function. I introduce her to the people there, right? Then 30 minutes later, I'm looking for her. I can't find her. I go outside and she's smoking weed with the drummer of the band doing a shotgun. You think, Victor, I waited till I got home? That didn't happen, bro. That wasn't going to work. Wasn't waiting till I got home. I ain't talking about putting my hand on her. That ain't what I'm saying. But for what I had to say, I said what I had to say, and this night was over, and that's it. And that's all, bro. And so at the end of the day, sometimes you can't hold it in, depend on what is being done. We're not children, because my mother, I showed up. My mother didn't wait till I got home to whip my tail. She whipped my tail back then.
But
so I'm just saying,
but
that's different.
At the same time, you was a child. Like that's different. That's
I catch you with the drummer at that time.
Yeah, but
I said what I had to say. I ain't waiting until I got home. No.
Like they already look at us like,
But for her to do that,
yeah,
then the level of respect wasn't there. Because if I take you someplace and you ain't got to be at my side the whole time, but that means you're not looking out for the home team. You're not looking out for the cash cow. So if for you to be outside doing some shit like that, and to be honest with you, if for you to hold a conversation with multiple guys that night, I'm gonna sit here and look at you a little crazy, like, because of who I am. If I take, my fiance to a company function, if she's just entertaining a bunch of people, I'm gonna be talked about. Like, damn, man, his old lady was out here doing this, and this. But that's, just you have to. Sometimes we have to give you women the game plan before we put y'all in the game. Let me say that. And
but
sometimes
why?
we just throw y'all out there to the
But if you know your better half, majority of the times they don't slip up like that because that's not who they are.
But understand that everybody, like some guys, they like that wild girl. That's who they want. They want this wild woman. But they might say, I just need for you to be on your best behavior for 2 hours. Just give me 2 hours and you do whatever it is. We can do whatever it is after that. So let's just say, there's a lot of swingers out there. And he might have to tell her, listen, we're going to this company function. I don't need for you to try to find us no partners, but just kind of play your role. I'm just saying, when you come into this,
I got you.
Sometimes when you go into a situation, and you go into a thing that like a big company function, you just need to tell your old lady, this is what you're going to expect. This is what I'm going to need for you to do. And the same thing she can tell me the same way. Vic, don't go in here cutting no jokes. Don't go in here showing off and smiling in all these people's faces. All right, I got you. For 2 hours.
But Veronica, Veronica, Tori, and Victor, I think that when you are proud of your better half, you want to show off your better half because you know you bringing a dime piece to the place, and not only that this is a dime piece, you want to show this dime piece off because this person represents you and she represents you 2,000%. So that's what I'm talking about, doing it for the team, because the team is on the same team working together, and you both want to show each other off because you want to show the world what I have. So I think that I understand what you're saying, Victor, but I feel if you got to say that to your better half, that ain't your better half, bro. That's just my opinion.
All I'm saying is, man, like, I'll tell you this, like, when me and my old lady, we going places together, if she's like, all right, Vic, we coming in here, don't you come in here cutting all these jokes and doing all this, I'll be like, all right, you know.
Yeah, something simple like that. Yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
she'll, I mean, and for the most part, I don't listen, but I at least try. You know what I'm saying? For the first initial 10 minutes, I'm like, you know, she right. I ain't gonna do that. But, you know.
That's exactly right, Duchess. As a woman, you got to know how to be his woman, his lady, his home girl, his everything. Versatile.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You got to know your role.
You got to know your role. I was going to say, you got to know your place. I mean, you got to know when to be this person at this time and that person at that time. You got to know when to be loud and when to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know. But some people don't get that. They just want to be loud everywhere they go. To each his own. But that's not me. Let's see. Let's get into
say that again.
Right, Victor, right.
You know what? I was having fun that night.
Did I say anything?
I know you're going though.
I didn't say a word. That was inside. I didn't say anything. I just wanted to make sure I heard what you said.
And Tori agreeing.
Tori just wanted to hear what you said too.
Listen, I had a really nice time. So I'll let my guard down. Yes, I did. But yeah, so it was something else that I wanted to touch on. But did you guys answer the question from this female? What do you men want?
I don't know. Did we?
I mean, we kind of we just gave our opinion, but at the end of the day, you know, each individual man is himself. So at the end of the day, you cannot just judge, you know, as they say, you can't judge a book by the cover. You can't judge one man and judge all of us. Each man is different, and you just gonna have to honestly know what you want, know what you're looking for at the end of the day. And if you feel like you want to approach a man, I don't see a problem with that. Some men that you may approach may not be with it. So you got to realize and understand that you may turn off a couple of men. But at the end of the day, you won't turn off all men. And you know what? You might approach someone that might be your shining and bright armor person. So do you, sis.
She need to find herself. Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting final.
Oh, you're good, Victor.
No. This ain't final thoughts, but
I just gonna say that when it comes to relationships, I feel like you gonna have your ups and downs in any relationship, but I think let things happen organically and don't force things. When I feel like you gotta force stuff, that ain't the one.
Like you gotta force to say I love you. You gotta force to say let's go out and hard. You know, you gotta force it. Like you don't want to say it, but you're forcing it. Like it's time to do some evaluation in that relationship. Like
who got the
I ain't touched nothing, so it ain't me.
Yeah, I'm hearing feedback. Somebody's playing.
Somebody.
That was me. I'm sorry.
All right, let me see what Dutch is saying right here. What a man won't do is have to tell me how to behave, because at the end of the night, I will make him look good, and he will be proud. He will be proud to show his lady off, because I will compliment him, and they will know.
Duchess, no, I was talking, and that's what I meant. She got it.
I gotta say to Duchess, This is an insider. I do believe in fairies. You know what I'm talking about.
Can you please put that comment back up there so I can dissect that, please? What a man won't do is have to tell me to behave.
How
You
to
sure?
behave. How to behave.
You sure? I mean, because at the end of the night, I will make him look good and will be proud to show me. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm with her. I'm with her.
I'm with her, but I want that to go both ways. We
Exactly.
both need to be doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to just be me putting in all the work. I want him to, you know what I'm saying, do the same thing. I want to be proud of him. You know what I'm saying? I want him to behave as well. So yeah, that goes both ways.
I had to come at Tori home, girl. She was praising her a little too much.
Going back to the beginning of when, you know, I'm going back to when Tori was giving the men all the praise at the beginning of the show. It's all good.
I said, but her question was just like Fatine said though, it was for them to answer. But
Yeah.
I was saying this is what my thought process, what I feel men need. That was my opinion. I wasn't saying that. I was saying to myself, this is how I am.
Yeah,
that's how I am. But I will say this: that when I say speak to the king in them, every man ain't no king now. You can't put a crown on a clown. You can't do that. Every man ain't no king.
Right.
But what I'm saying is don't make life more difficult than it has to be.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the women are pointing the finger at the men are pointing the finger at the women. We have to come together. We both have to heal and come together and heal each other. We can't just continue hurting each other.
Right.
Who can hurt the most? Who can hurt this person the most? That ain't.
That's why I say going into a relationship, everybody needs to be honest with one another. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean going in a relationship and be like, well, you know, when I was 5 years old, I did, you know, my uncle came in the room. Like, I'm not talking about like personal things going into it. That's going to come down further down the road. Like, you really have to really get to know someone for them to give you that kind of, you know what I'm saying? To let you into their life like that. But what I'm saying, like little things, like don't start offline at the beginning of a relationship. Let everything be natural. Let everything come real. Be honest. What you want, what you don't want, you know. But as far as like things like holding hands and hugging and all that, you shouldn't have to tell a person that. Like, if that person wants to do that, then let that person do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't force something on someone that they're not used to. Let it come natural.
Or don't want to do. In college, my girlfriend in college brought me in her neighborhood and she wants to hold my hand. We didn't do this on college campus, and I wasn't the kind of guy at that particular time that wanted to really do this. You know, and she had a motive for it, and at the end of the day, and no, I didn't like that, and I'm not going to allow you force me into that.
Yeah, I just feel like the little things count. Like, how was your day? Do you need me to do anything? You know, like little things count. Things that y'all don't think are important, Victor, is important to us. And I feel like deep down inside, it is important to you all too, for a woman to for you all to feel special as well. I mean, you guys may, you know, act all tough and hard, but you all want that affection. Right? Am I wrong?
You was freezing up a bit.
Oh, I was?
No.
Yeah.
But
you better now.
But Veronica, what if I don't feel like doing nothing that day? So I don't ask you, you know, what can I do for you today? Just realize that just because I might stop something the day to a week or a month don't necessarily mean I don't care anymore. You know, I might have something going on with me. And sometimes with men, we need to work our own problems out. We don't need for you to be probing us for what's wrong. Sometimes if we say nothing, it is nothing.
Yeah. But, you know, we tend to nag. What do you mean it's not nothing? What do you... There is something going on because you're not talking. Like, we as women have to learn, and I go back to this, we have to learn to, like, be quiet. We have to learn to give you guys space. when we feel like you guys are, you know, being distant, something is going on, you know, and it can be something small, but you just need that distance right now. But
You know, one of the hardest things about, I say this, one of the hardest things I've been in when dealing with someone, and we've been in two separate fields. It's hard to explain how your day was when you have to explain every minute detail about what you're talking about, because your partner may want to listen and understand what you're going through, but they might keep asking you questions while you're like, okay, the P92, this, and this. And they're like, well, what is that? What does that do? And it's like you're focusing on the wrong thing. And then you get to the point, like, you know what? I don't even want to talk to you right now. So now you're mad about some shit that happened at work, but now you take it out on the person you with, because you're trying to explain something to them, but they're focusing on the wrong thing. So, you know, I'll say this. Some of y'all listen too well.
that would be me. I want to hear what you're saying. Like, I'm so detailed when I'm telling something. Go ahead, Victor.
But it's to the point, like, if I'm telling you a story, just listen. Don't ask me no questions. Just listen. Just listen. Because I know you can't fix it, but I just want to get this off my chest. But you asking me, you know, what is this and what does that do? And why was you over here? And who is that? You know, that's crazy. You know, you ever heard that it's a little joke. It's talk about a man was in the car wreck and the ambulance came and got him. And no, the man was driving down the road, got in the car wreck, and he lost his leg, he lost his arm, he on life support right now. And he's so glad that Deanna brought him to the hospital. And the wife was like, well, who the hell is Deanna? You don't care nothing about the car wreck and him losing his leg and all this. The only thing you worried about is who the hell is Deanna? So you forgot everything that I talked about.
Nah, that's
Only
not
thing
me.
you focused on is Deanna.
Right.
Nah, that's not me. But I will ask about Deanna like 3 days later after I know everything good.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
I'm not going to sit at no hospital and be like, now tell me, who is Deanna? No, I think I'm worried about you getting better. At least getting that first shot.
Let me get out of the way of her nose growing.
No, seriously, why would I be worried about? Okay, you could just got you said
Deanna, my coworker brought me to the hospital. That's who it is, my coworker. So why 3 days later the question is Deanna? But he said my coworker.
No. Victor said the same day, like you were in the ambulance or you just got to the hospital and she's worried about who Deanna is.
Right.
Yes.
But you said, I'm going on what you said, Veronica. You said you wouldn't ask that that same day. I'm worried about him getting better, but I would ask the third day. But he already said that was my coworker that got me and saved my life. Why even the question?
I didn't hear him say
exactly. Yeah, of course you didn't hear that.
I've never listened to you.
That's the point. That's the point he's saying. That's the point. That's the problem.
All thing you heard was Deanna brought me to the hospital.
Speaking about Veronica, bring up that comment that Deanna Williamson made about loving your significant other according to their love language, not yours. I think that is so important to
love language or body language.
Yeah, pay attention.
Love language.
Pay attention to their love language, because a lot of times,
really good points. She really does.
Yeah, that is so important, because a lot of times you loving some. Matter of fact, someone had a conversation about this. Like, you was loving me based on your love language, and that's why it didn't work out. I had this conversation. That is so true. Because that's where that was one of my mistakes in a past relationship. I was loving them based on my love language instead of mine. And then another thing that I worked on, learned from that relationship, was that I wasn't an effective communicator. Like, sometimes if I say I didn't like something, I'm not going to say it right then, but like, you can't expect for people to read your mind if you don't let them know they're doing something you don't like. And you don't say nothing. And I was one of those people, they did it so much to the point where it piled up and I just snapped. Like, what? And they're like, well, I never knew this. You never said anything.
Gotta
And
open
it's
your
like,
mouth.
I was expecting them like, I don't like this, but I never expressed that I didn't like it. So how would they know that I didn't like this?
See, that's
But I
what,
waited till they did it so many times that I just blew up and just snapped and just start throwing things.
that's why I say it's so important to communicate at the beginning. So you have to let people know, what you're like. If they do something, don't wait. Like you said, you let everything build up and then you finally, popped off and like, I don't like for you to do this. Like if it's something that you don't like, something you disagree with, that person with, you need to let them know. Like don't hold stuff in. And I know we've all made that mistake before, but we have to learn how to talk. And I keep saying it.
Well, Tori, isn't that kind of like settling? Because you're saying, I mean, I get exactly what Deanna is getting at. I think I get what she's getting at. But,
Yeah, I'm trying to understand it.
But I think I kind of get what she's getting at. I hope I get what she's getting at. But if that person doesn't speak your love language, you shouldn't have to change who you are to suit them.
No. You're not changing who you are, but you're not loving them. I'm saying you don't change who you are, but you love them based on it. Okay, say for example, if I'm in a relationship, I'm the type of person that, okay, I'll just talk about a previous relationship. Matter of fact, me and the person that had this conversation. Okay, my love language was the quality time. His love language was the fact that he used to love to cook for me, and we were basically reading each other based on how his way of loving and my way of loving were different. So because the way I received love and the way he really received love was different, we kind of clashed on a lot of levels. If that makes sense. That's what she's saying. Like, because I like quality time, that's not how he expresses his love. The way he expresses love to me was like cooking for me and stuff like that. So you have to not change who you are, but learn that person's love language as well as they learn yours. So both of you guys can, like compromise and come on a common ground. That's,
I got you.
And,
I understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know about love growing up. Like in my household, we knew we loved each other because we are a tight family and still is to this day, but we didn't grow up saying, I love you, mom, I love you, dad. But now till this day, I won't go a day without telling them that I love them. If I'm talking to my siblings on the phone, like I tell them I love you, but we wasn't raised that way. So I think a lot of time it's how people are raised. Like if you're not raised up, like if your parents didn't teach you love, like it's sometimes hard for people to love someone, if that makes sense.
She said that's not what she meant. So Deanna, explain what you mean.
Yeah, and see,
that's not what she meant. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know if what.
That's how the way she said it. That's not what she meant, but that's how I interpret it. Because matter of fact, me and my ex had a conversation about that, and he was saying that shut up, Victor. He was saying that I was loving him on my love language, and we was loving each other based on what we like. You know what I mean? So. Okay, she's explaining.
So what was your love language?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I like the quality time.
Me too.
Yeah, I like quality time.
And
his was different.
Looking for you.
Yeah.
You basically were honestly on different pages. That's what she's basically saying. You're on different pages here. And she also made mention that she said ain't nobody got time to decipher love language when these bills are piling up. Then she went into
that voodoo child.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, quality time be of action, not just talk. His love language was acts of service. So basically, just looking at that, it's just that, and just looking where we at, and I brought this up last week, that with all this baggage and these backs and forth, and that's why a lot of people are just doing this. They just tired. I had an author on our show last week, and it was about fatigue, just being fatigued with certain things, being fatigued with COVID, being fatigued with wearing a mask, just being fatigued. And when I use the word life, not tired of life, they just tired of life is already a struggle. And now I got to struggle with my loved one. At the end of the day, we can't communicate. We don't know how to communicate. We're not on the same page. I didn't say I love you this morning, mean I don't love you, and we're arguing about this. That's a lot of work, and a lot of people are tired. They're fatigued of this, and that's why a lot of people walk away from relationships or don't put in the quality that needs to be put in because they're tired. They just tired of the day in and day out hustle and bustle that they got to deal with, and then they got to deal with that at home.
Well, that's because it got to that comfort zone. You got to that comfort zone where you just felt like, you know, you didn't need to do certain things any longer because you know that person isn't going anywhere. And that's where a lot of relationships make mistakes. You know, that's when people are ready to throw in the towel. Like, I'm tired of doing the same thing. It's like the same routine each and every day. Like, can we do something new? Like, what else can we do? That's why I say, like, having date nights and things like that are so important. Even if you're, you know, having a date night right there at home, you have to keep things fresh and you have to keep things going in order for the relationship to work. So, I mean, if you're stuck in that zone that you're in, of course, that person is going to get tired. And then on top of the pandemic going on where nobody's really leaving the house and, you know, things like that, and just, yeah, it can be very frustrating. Yep. So you have to make time for each other and just keep things fresh. That's how I look at it. You got to come out of your comfort zone, or you will be tired and throwing in the towel. So,
okay. And I see what Deanna said. Victor, did you see her comment?
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't appreciate that either.
Well, I think I was leaning towards more what Victor was saying too. That's why I was like, I was kind of confused.
So you was on the same page with Victor.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see where Deanna. Yeah, me and Deanna's on the same page.
Victor go, man, bye.
Duchess says people love languages different and they express different. Sometimes you have to teach the other person.
True. Absolutely. Well, and see that way we made a mistake.
That's a problem.
We didn't teach each other.
That's a problem right there. You see that word teach. You see how Victor responded?
But see, the thing is, okay, maybe teach is far-fetched.
Yep.
But we should be trying to, you know, come together and figure out, like,
learn each other.
Yeah, you have to learn each other.
But you got to be open to it. You got to be open to it. But that word teaching is more of a person in charge versus.
That's where you think you're thinking too hard. You're overthinking. Just because
she didn't mean it that way. She meant learn each other. She didn't mean it that way. She meant learn each other.
She was typing it, and she had every opportunity to delete and put learn, and she did not.
I'm telling you, you see how y'all minuscule what we just said. The way you said it, I don't care. She said it.
I know her.
We responded.
That's not what she meant. She didn't mean it. I know her person.
You had it.
You know what? Let me mute my mic.
Yeah, I understand. We don't go on what she said. That's a common word.
Okay, calm down, everybody. That's why you have to learn each other. Is that better? Learn each other.
Compromise, right? That's right. But then you can't come out and say teach, because that's a trigger word. There's certain trigger words out here that people say to each other, and it puts us on the defense right off the bat. And you have to understand that.
Yeah, but we all knew that. So,
and you said you knew that, but you saw the reaction that Victor and myself gave off the bat.
Y'all both are slow, and you take things over the top.
I got it.
Oh, look at Tori. Please unmute your mic, please.
What is she doing?
This is what Deanna's talking
Tori,
about.
Can you please tell us why you have that book up there?
Because I was looking at the comment. This was Deanna's talking about the 5 love languages, the book, 5 love languages.
Oh yeah. But how many people really go by that? All these people that read these books and all this stuff, do y'all live by what y'all reading?
No, hell no.
That's a serious question, because
everybody's different.
a lot of people do throw out, well, you need to read this, you need to read that, and
That's
this
right.
and that. But are y'all living by
Become
what
a
y'all
robot. Become a robot.
But
And
that's
then,
just-
then you don't come yourself. You're not yourself.
Let me speak for Tori.
Uh-huh.
Tori is constantly reading books and doing things to make Tori better. So a lot of stuff, it's like this: when you read certain books, you may not be able to use everything. It's like just using the meat and spitting out the bones. Use what you can and spit out what you can.
I agree with that.
So we
I agree with that, Tori.
must always be able to learn, never
Grow.
stop learning, whether it
Yeah.
be books, whether it be
Yes.
being observations,
Yes.
whatever. You should always become better individuals daily. I know I
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
I agree with
a
you,
lot.
Tori. I agree with you. You should be learning from the cradle to the grave. And if you don't learn something that day, a lot of people say you was dead that day. So I agree with you.
But
And
that book is just like this Tangy tea. If you don't, if you won't take nothing from the book, you ain't gonna take nothing from what we talking about here. So I agree with that. You should at least read it, and maybe you can learn something
From it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you got all these different things. Like I'm gonna tell you, and I'm glad that Tori and Trey put me on to this Clubhouse. I'm really into the Clubhouse app. Because they have different rooms that you can go in, and I'm learning a lot because as I'm listening and inside
Yeah.
these rooms, like relationship rooms and stuff like that, like
Yes.
I'm taking notes and writing things down because a lot of the stuff that these people are saying are things that will have you stop and be like, dang, that was
Didn't
me.
think- Exactly.
Or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
it's so informative when you go in these rooms, and I'm not talking about all the rooms. Like I go
Not all of them.
Right. Like I stay into the relationship rooms, and I like going into the rooms where the brothers are talking. They give the women the opportunity to ask questions to them, and they answer the women questions. Like the women will say, oh, I've been in this relationship and I'm wondering why this blah 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 happened and this happened and that happened, and they
Right.
break it down from a man perspective, and I really enjoy that. So I'm really getting into it. Like I signed up to be in Clubhouse back in January, but I'm really starting, like I was telling Tori, we was texting each other back and forth last night, and like I didn't get into bed till like 2:00 because I was still inside a room listening, and they ask me, like they like if they see you inside a room, they'll ask you to come on stage so that you can speak. I got 3 people that requested me to come on stage, but I declined because I'm like, I just want to sit back and I just want to soak in what they're saying and and take notes and all that. But when I get comfortable, I'm going to go on stage just like I do with Tangy T and express my feelings and, things that I've been through and, to help someone else out. But last night, I just wanted to take in what they were saying. So I think that's a great thing. You have to, someone have to invite you to come on to join Clubhouse. So if you know someone that's in Clubhouse, they would have to send you a link, and I think you can only send it to one other person. Like if you already sent the link to someone, you're not able to send it to like 5 and 6 other people. So you only get one shot to send it to who you want to. But Duchess, Clubhouse is a very, very, I love it. When Tori used to tell me about it, and she used to say, oh, I've been in this room for 2-3 hours. I'm like, Tori, really? Like, what the heck? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, it's really good, and I enjoy it.
Some radio programs, we had a meeting with some of the top syndicated radio shows across the country, and some of those morning shows, folks are in Clubhouse and they build some of their conversations around some of the conversations that are that take place in Clubhouse.
It's really good, and the thing is that it's not like they just don't have any and everybody giving advice. Like they have what do you call it? What do you call the people I'm trying to think of that you go to and you sit down in front of them and you tell
therapists?
them? Yes, they have a lot of therapists on there and giving information and helping you out. So I think it's a great thing. And if you're not on Clubhouse, for those of you who are watching, you might want to check that out.
And for the folks that are asking the question now, instead of us trying to explain, just Google Clubhouse and you'll be able to find out more about what Clubhouse is about out there. And as Veronica said, you have to be invited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me say this. That was one thing that Fatine said. You have to. It's for this. It's like this. You have to be invited for one, and for two, it's not currently. It's in the beta stages right now. It's not open to the public. So unfortunately, it's just open to iPhone users at this time. So that's the thing. You have to be invited, and you have to have an iPhone. They haven't
Well,
opened it up to everybody yet.
understand when you're getting advice from somebody, understand they're giving advice from their perspective and the type of person that they are. So when I'm sitting here giving, critiquing somebody's letter, I'm only doing it from the type of man that, critiquing it from the type of perspective that men that think like me and are in the same, playing field that I'm on.
Wavelength, right?
So,
And then too,
huh?
I was gonna say then
No,
too
go ahead.
what you're saying, Victor. I think it's great to get different perspectives because sometimes you say stuff and Fatine say stuff that, and I'm like, dang, I didn't think of it that way. So I love it.
So I think a lot of women look at this guy that's standing up here and he's got the slim cut stuff on and he's got his muscles all bulging and all this stuff. Understand that a guy like that, he's may or may not be attracted to a woman who, like, I ain't gonna say you, but just speaking to the viewers, the man that you're listening to that's giving you advice on how to attract men might not be the type of man that you really need or you really deserve. And I'll kind of tie it into that to the letter. A lot of women think that they should have this type, but don't know how to keep or deal with this type of man. They don't know how to do it. So understand, first of all, a woman needs to know exactly what her type is and what she wants. And then from there, she needs to say, do I really either deserve this type or can I function with this type?
Mm.
And some women are sitting here and say, well, I deserve the best. Yeah, everybody deserves the best. But what you consider the best, you might not know how to deal with. Point blank.
Well, not everybody deserves the best, but I'm just saying. But when these people are giving advice, I mean, it's just like, I feel like no one should be giving advice if you have not been through something. Like, you can't give me advice on relationship if you haven't been through a relationship and you've been through things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your life is so-called perfect and you haven't been through storms and trials and tribulations or whatever you call it, like, you can't give me advice.
Why?
Like, because you can't. You haven't been through what I've been through.
But so somebody who's been married 50 years, yes, I would love for you to tell me how in the hell you stayed married for 50 years.
And they've been through storms. Yes.
But I'm not saying they haven't. And then somebody who's been divorced 5 times, I would like for you to give me the divorce. I mean, I would like for you to tell me why in the hell you got divorced 5 times.
But that's what I'm saying. If you haven't been through something, you can't give advice. Everybody.
Yes, you can. In my eyes, I feel like somebody who has the perfect storybook marriage, please tell me how in the hell.
How did it work? We need to hear that.
Yes.
Because we haven't heard that. And we
That's
need
what I
to
wanna
hear
hear.
that. We need to hear
saying.
that.
Y'all missing what I'm saying. Like these letters that we receive. Fatine, you can't tell me nothing. Victor, you can't tell me nothing. Tori, you can't tell me nothing. If you have not been through what this person in this letter is talking about, you can't tell you can't tell this girl anything.
Yes, I can, because I can tell you how I did not go through that.
Or if we went through something similar or the same thing, you give that advice from that perspective, or through our wisdom, because of our experiences, you are able to give advice.
Yes. I mean, some of these letters that I've witnessed, I haven't been through nothing remotely close to that.
I mean, but when you talking about relationships,
mm-hmm.
Everybody's been through something. Everybody on this panel have been through something.
Oh yeah, right.
And if I thought that y'all relationships was perfect, you would not be a co-host on this show, because everybody on this panel have experienced something. You've been through a breakup. You're going through a breakup. You've been heartbroken, like something. So,
Yep.
Tell me. Tell me something different.
I ain't admitting to nothing. I've been through the perfect relationship. I'm in the perfect relationship.
Okay.
Y'all know what Veronica talking about.
You want to
I'm
keep getting
just
them.
saying.
You want to keep
I
getting
mean-
them shirts folded in the back of you, yeah.
That is partially true. I mean, Duchess, yeah, but you and she said, but you don't have to be an alcoholic to tell someone how hard to stop drinking. That's true. But you bet your bottom dollar that somebody in my family was an alcoholic and they died from it, and I can give advice. It may not have been me, but I've been through it. Like somebody in my family have been an alcoholic and
Yep.
lost their lives due to that. That's what I'm
That's right.
saying. If you haven't been through an experience, maybe it wasn't you. It was somebody you know. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That can give advice. It don't necessarily have to be you. That's what I'm saying. Y'all missing my point of what I'm saying. So hopefully I just broke that down for you.
I want to ask a question. I know we may not have time for
You know,
this,
'cause it's
but
after 10.
when you was talking about knowing what you want or knowing the type you go after, I was just thinking about how I watch some of these internet women. What do I mean by internet women? So I can explain. What I mean is that I see some of these women that are you considered folks that are gorgeous women, and they're into men with money. And then when they meet up with these men with money, some of these men are abusive men. And I wanted to hopefully open the door where we can have a conversation down the line about abuse, about violence, domestic violence and abuse, because at the end of the day, people are in relationships and they feel that sometimes they go after certain things and certain things that comes with the territory. Somebody with a status, somebody with a lot of money, they have to take certain things because it comes with the territory. So that, I know we're not going to go into that tonight, but hopefully one night we can.
Yeah, and I actually had a counselor to come on and talk about domestic violence, but this was back in 2019, I think. But we definitely need that conversation. Yeah, it's already been 2 hours, guys. It's time to wrap it up.
We'll talk about Cardi B next time, y'all.
King Art is in Clubhouse right now. It just came to my phone, so I gotta say deuces because I'm here to get in
Listen, this is a good night, Veronica. This is a night where we just listen, because the Tuesday night, the room you talking about, I think is Black Men Therapy.
Yes,
the women are not allowed on the stage. We just have to listen to the men's perspective. So yeah, we gotta go.
It just came up. All right, gotta go. But no, seriously, guys. I think that you Fatine and Victor, you guys, y'all wanted to shed something else to this letter. Tori and I, we're just gonna be quiet and we're gonna let y'all wrap up. If y'all have something to say to this young lady, you got 10 seconds each.
I think that, again, I say that you can, if you feel that you want to approach a man, you go ahead and approach a man. You be who you are at the end of the day. Be yourself. And communication is very important. And learn from your mistakes. Look in the mirror and be a better you.
Don't change, do you?
Well,
bye, Veronica, since you're ready to go.
thank you guys so much. You know, I don't want to rush you, family. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you, Victor and Fatine. Thank y'all for your comments. It was a great show tonight. Thank you all for all of you tuning in and leaving your comments. Of course, comments was pouring in tonight and we haven't had a chance to get to all of your comments, but we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in to the tea each and every week. Thank you guys so much. Duchess, thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in and watching the tea tonight. Okay, I was reading Brian's comment. But yes, guys, thank you so much. Victor, my co-host, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Victor, my girl Tori. Keep the Faith podcast. We appreciate you every week. And Fatine, all the way from New York, radio station WBLS. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and every week. I really appreciate this platform. I thank all of my co-hosts. You guys are the best. And Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. If you would like to be a guest on Tangy Tea of Life, email me, tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. Topic suggestions, all of that right there, tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. You can inbox me right here on Facebook. You can inbox me on our Tangy Tea page or also my personal page, which is Veronica Samuel. All right, guys, thank you so much. Guys, have a great night, and God willing, we will join you back here Thursday. All right. Thanks, guys. Victor, thank you for your pearly whites. We appreciate you so much. Guys, have a great night.